Hey, what's up, Smashers? Protagonist here. Today we're going to go over some very interesting and obscure differences between Marth and Lucina that may possibly even be game-changing. It'll change what we know about Smash 4, possibly, and about the characters. So let's just get right into it. So the main difference that I found between these two characters is randomly within their perfect pivots. So as you know, perfect pivots allow you to slide a short distance and carry momentum. While performing a perfect pivot, you can use moves in conjunction with it and basically have sliding moves, just like in Melee with wave dashing, same sort of concept. What players have to be wary of is that some characters, for specific moves, have this traction property, which doesn't allow the character to slide while, performing their move. It's a weird law the game has where some moves just have to have the model completely stationary. So as you can see, like with a forward smash, Marth has to completely stop the sliding in order to perform the forward smash. This goes with most smash attacks actually. But the point is that some moves have the sliding and some moves will not carry the momentum of sliding. So, some moves you can slide, some moves you can't slide. But the point, the inconsistency I'm trying to point out is between Marth and Lucina. Lucina's perfect pivot up tilt has a sliding property, and including her jab has a sliding property. It's very hard to notice because, Marth and Lucina don't really have a long perfect pivot to begin with, but Lucina's jab and up tilt carries momentum, but Marth doesn't, and I don't have an answer to this, unfortunately. There's no real explanation or anything to go off of, but what we can point out, what we can draw the conclusion to at least, is that if Lucina's moves can carry momentum, that means she has a traction difference from Marth, which means that she might have other differences in terms of, maybe when the game gets broken down and we can look at it as deep as Melee and Brawl, we can see these differences. There's something clearly off about the traction between Marth and Lucina. I've tried it with running, run shielding, turnaround animation. It's all the same, except for this weird, this weird property between attacks of up tilts and jabs. It doesn't make any sense when Marth does a perfect pivot jab or a perfect pivot up tilt, or really any move for that matter that isn't shield breaker. His momentum stops because his move has too much traction. But with Lucina, it doesn't have too much traction. This might be because Lucina is a smaller model. Maybe that's how the game works. Just smaller models carry more momentum. And if a move has a certain amount of traction in conjunction with the character's model, then perhaps, the move won't slide anymore or will slide. I know it's very complicated. I hope you guys are still with me right here. And that does seem to be the case. It's a pattern that small characters typically have moves that carry momentum when you're perfect pivoting. For example, Kirby, all of his moves, all of his tilts and even jab, they carry momentum when using the perfect pivot, including Mario. So that's another character. Now, even though I pointed out this inconsistency between the two characters, you might say, oh, well, big whoop. This is such an insignificant difference that the two characters have. Well, no, actually. Lucina can use this to her advantage, in fact. Perfect pivots are greatly useful as spacing and mind game tools, of course. But we're going to focus on the spacing part of it today. So let's say you do like a jump, fast fall, your opponent thinks you're going to grab, and then you can space a perfect pivot jab or perfect pivot up tilt on them. For Marth, it'll be less safe because not only will he not probably use it, he probably won't be using the tipper of the move, which means that it has a less shield stun. But also, Lucina's perfect pivot carries momentum, so she'll be sliding more, which means that the opponent will not be able to shield grab her. So that's very useful in terms of spacing on shields, which Marth just doesn't have that option. This can also, of course, help with catching landings and specific plays in neutral that Lucina will be able to do that Marth won't be able to do. Of course, these are probably going to be very situational things. Nobody, even in general, not many players are throwing out perfect pivots anyway. But I'm just saying, for the future of the metagame, this could be useful. You know, so this could be useful not only just for the characters, as if you're maining Marth or Lucina, but it could also be useful for just learning about the game, you know, learning about the differences, how the game works, how momentum in this game works, and that'll be I think this inconsistency right here is very beneficial to the progression of learning the mechanics of this game. The moral of the story here, this is just some food for thought, you know. So that's pretty much it to this topic right here. I will probably be making more in-depth videos about Smash, little tidbits, full-out tutorials to like really good editing like False. Maybe not that good, but you get the point. Yeah, stay tuned for content, and yeah, just thanks for watching. So see you all later. Thanks.